Hi everybody. Hello. Hi, thanks for joining today. My name is Miss Tabatha and I'm with the Gale Borden Public Library. I'm joining you today from my kitchen to bring you a program called Baking for Kids. And today we are going to be baking some pumpkin spice chocolate chip cookies, which are some of my favorites for the fall time, but I've also made these in July, so they're really great cookies for any time. Hello, thanks for coming. So today I'll show you what you need to use to bake these cookies. They are super simple, and they any age group can do these with you all the way down to preschool. It's also kind of a fun sensory activity if you have preschoolers at home. And then also for elementary and middle schoolers, it's a really great way to make them feel confident about their baking. Or if you're a novice baker yourself, as a grown-up, you can try these and feel really confident because they're super simple, you can't mess it up, and it's just really easy to do. It takes longer in the oven than it does to prepare. So before I get started, I want to share with you some things that we have coming up in November and December. Hopefully you have signed up for our newsletter and you've seen the programs that we have in November and December, and you've already started registering your elementary students. We, of course, have tons and tons of our regular weekly programs like STEAM or Kids Explore. We've got coding club and book parties. But during winter break, we're also going to have some really fun different types of programs to give your family something to do that's pretty fun. So there's a winter break kit that you're going to want to sign up for and get because that is going to have so many cool things, but it is limited, so make sure you sign up for that. And then we also have a holiday STEAM program that's going to be really fun, so make sure you go check that out as well. And finally, we've got, I talked a little bit about this last time, but we've got a school year reading program. So if you've got school-aged children from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade, you're going to want to sign them up for the school year reading program because that is just a great way to incentivize their reading and give them prizes for things that they're already doing. So yeah, so let's talk. Oh, and I forgot to say, hi. I forgot to say that we are going to be baking some mini pumpkin pies the day before Thanksgiving. So those are going to be really fun, and they're great snacks to either have the day before Thanksgiving to get your belly ready for all of the yummy food, or you can eat them all weekend long. So those will be really fun to bake together in November. So be sure to check that out. It'll be on Wednesday from 2 o'clock to 2:45. So we'll see you then for that program. All right, so let's go through all of the things you're going to need for baking these cookies. Again, like I said, we are going to be baking some pumpkin spice chocolate chip cookies. And the ingredients you're going to need, you will need some spice cake mix. You can also, if you have a really good spice cake recipe that you like to use, you can use that, and it'll just be the dry ingredients that you'll mix together and use for this recipe. But I like to use this because I can keep a bunch in my pantry, and then if I need a really quick cookie, if I'm having some sugar cravings, these are a really great option for when you're really just wanting to have something sweet and you only have maybe 10 minutes to whip something up. So I always have this on hand. It doesn't have to be Betty Crocker, but this is what I usually use. And then you're going to use, I should tell you, that is about 15 ounces of cake mix. So if you are baking it from scratch, you'll need about 15 ounces. Then you're going to use some pumpkin puree. And I actually just found out that this is actually, that Libby's is an Illinois-based company. So these pumpkins were made in Illinois or grown in Illinois. So that's kind of cool. So you're going to need 100% pure pumpkin puree for this recipe, and this part of the recipe you will need some parent help opening up the pumpkin just to make sure that it gets open, and then finally you're going to need some semi-sweet chocolate chips, And you will need 12 ounces of the chocolate chips. I use the entire bag because I love chocolate chips. I use also semi-sweet, but you could also do milk chocolate if you prefer a more creamy chocolate chip. And then I forgot to say that this is 15 ounces as well. So you're gonna use the whole can. All right, so let's get started. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say, this is all the different utensils we'll need. So you're gonna need a large bowl for your batter. You're gonna need a cookie tray to go in the oven. You'll have a spoon to drop the cookies, and you'll want a big and small spatula. I use my small spatula for the pumpkin puree. You don't have to do that, you could use the spoon, but I like getting it in the corners with the spatula. And really important if you're baking with youngsters, make sure that you wash your hands, especially nowadays. So I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven all the way to 350. And while that preheats, we're gonna mix all of the ingredients together. So you're gonna take your your cake mix, and you're gonna drop it into your bowl. I've already sliced open my bag. So I'm gonna put that in the bowl. And then you're gonna take your pumpkin and your spatula, your small spatula or your spoon, and drop it in there. Hi, seeing some more people join us. It's great. If you're watching at home, go ahead and say hi. I love interacting in that way. So you're gonna put your pumpkin puree in here. Okay, and let's see. Now that that's in there, I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside. And last step, like I said, this is like a super simple recipe. The last ingredient, I should say. You're gonna dump your chocolate chips in there. You could also wait to add your chocolate chips later, but I like doing it all at once because then I only have to stir once. You could do it after you incorporate the dry ingredients with the pumpkin, but yeah, I just like to do it all at once. So now you're gonna use your large spatula and mix it all together. And this is sort of the bit that could be sort of fun for sensory activity. Your little ones could use their washed hands and mix it all together. It is got a lot of different textures in there with the pumpkin and with the dry ingredients, so that might be kind of fun. But I'm going to use a spatula right now and mix up all those ingredients. You do not need a KitchenAid or a electric blender to mix this together because it is pretty soft. You also don't have to use any eggs in this recipe, so if you have anybody allergic to eggs or even milk, the great thing about this cookie recipe is it's pretty adaptable. You don't have to add the chocolate chips, so if you have some allergies that you're concerned with, or if you don't eat any meat or animal byproduct, this is a great recipe for that. And it still allows you to fulfill your sweet tooth. There's also not a ton of sugar in this, so it's more of a healthy recipe. The majority of it is that pumpkin, so it's kind of nice. You don't feel as bad if you have a couple. Okay, so now that you've incorporated that all together, it should look something like this. Make sure you sweep your spatula underneath your batter to make sure you get anything that might be underneath. Sometimes some powder likes to stay under there, so make sure you swish that around. And great news, you're done. Like I said, it's a super simple, mix it up, you got it in your pantry, and now you can make some great cookies. So now that you're done, you will, like I said, put these in. Use your spoon, and these are drop cookies, so they're not going to look perfectly symmetrical. You're just going to drop them onto your pan. So make sure you grab your cookie tray, and you're going to take your spoon. I like to do a big heap. Let's see if I don't want to drop any on the floor. So I like to take just a big heap and drop it on there. You could do more than that if you'd like larger cookies. Nothing wrong with a larger cookie. Just make sure that they cook all the way through. We are going to be cooking these for 15 to 18 minutes. So if they are on the larger end, which sometimes, you know, my first batch will be smaller and then my second batch will be larger. You're just going to want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. Although, like I said, there's not really anything too bad to, you could eat this batter right out of the bowl if you wanted, and it wouldn't hurt you. So, but it's a little tastier in my opinion to have it all the way cooked. All right, so once you get those all on there, you're gonna pop them in the oven, like I said, for about 15 to 18 minutes. And I'll show you what this looks like all dropped on the pan in just a second. I can fit about 12 on here. If I make them smaller, if you make them a little larger, you can fit 9. They don't expand at all, so they'll stay about this size. So if you do end up using, if you do end up putting more on there and they're a little closer together, that's okay. So now I'm going to pop these in the oven and I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. And there we go. So I told you that these take less time to put together than they do to cook. Just setting my timer there. Okay, so they take 15 minutes to cook and about 8 minutes to put together. So, and most of that was me just talking to you, so you could do it really quickly in 5 minutes if you wanted. All right, so now I'm going to move this table forward and I'll share some stories with you. So we've got 15 minutes while those are baking, and then I'll pop them out and they'll be finished. But in the meantime, I thought it would be a good opportunity to share some stories. So this first story that I'm going to share with you today is called You Matter. All right, and this is written by Christian Robinson, and he also did the illustrations for it. The small stuff, too small to see. Those who swim with the tide, and those who don't. See that? I've got some pumpkin on my hand. The first to go and the last, you matter. When everyone thinks you're a pest. What is that? Looks like a mosquito. When something is just out of reach. Uh-oh. Do you think he might have a mosquito bite that he can't itch? When everyone is too busy to help, you matter. If you fall down, if you have to start all over again, even if you're really gassy, you matter. Sometimes home is far away. Sometimes someone you love says goodbye. Sometimes you feel lost and alone, but you matter. Old and young, the first to go and the last, the small stuff, too small to see. You matter. The end. I love that story. I think his illustrations are so beautiful too. All right, let me switch gears a little bit. We're going to share something that's pretty fun to read, and it's timely. We've got Sophia Valdez, Future Prez, and this is written by Andrea Beatty, and the illustrations are by David Roberts. This is Sophia Valdez, Future Prez. Sophia was a baby who got things done, helping her family before she turned 1. Look at her being so helpful. She and Abuelo went out every week to help elderly friends around Blue River Creek. Who couldn't get out and about on their own, and with no place to gather, they were stuck at home. We know how that feels, don't we? Raking the leaves, taking pets for a walk, or just dropping by for a treat and a talk. Sophia Valdez did as much as she could for her family and friends and her whole neighborhood. A dreamer, a doer, a real-life go-getter. Most people like good, but Sophia liked better. Oh, I love this page. I think it's so fun. Each morning, Abuelo walked Sophia to class. They walked home along Blue River Pass, making plans, munching cookies, Abuelo and the girl, except for Tuesday when Pup saw a squirrel. With a howl, Pup took off, racing all through the town, over, under, beneath, and around. Sophia scrambled to try to keep up with the hollering man and the bellowing Pup. Look at that, we're all turned upside down, aren't we? Oh my goodness, what did they find? Up the squirrel ran to the top of the hill, made of leftover junk for the local landfill. They reached the tip top of that mountain of trash, which jiggled and broke with an ear-splitting crash. Ouch, cried Abuelo. He struggled to stand. A dangerous mess, he said, grasping her hand. Oh no. The next day, Sophia walked to school solo, but it wasn't the same without her Abuelo. This is not right, declared young Sophia, who glared at Mount Trashmore and got an idea. What do you think her idea was? Let's see. The very next morning, at 1:30 dawn, she planted a sign at the front of the lawn. She stood back and smiled and Pup gave a bark. Get rid of Mount Trashmore. Let's build a new park. That sounds a lot better. Each of her neighbors had something to say about benches and fountains and places to play, meeting spots and gardens, a basket for bees, a rubber ducky pond, and a kiosk for cheese. Ooh, who would like a kiosk for cheese? That sounds pretty yummy. A rubber ducky pond, and she drew every thought on a map of her park, which was perfectly perfect by 1:15 dark. She drifted to sleep in her soft, cozy bed. Then, bam! She woke up with a thought smacked her head. When a thought smacked her head, her heart skipped a beat as she realized each one of her neighbors had said, "Let me know when it's done." They all thought Sophia could build it alone. But how could one girl do so much on her own? The weight of that thought made her tender heart ache as night thunder growled and she lay wide awake. Then dawn brought on a storm and the gloomy sky wept, and the heart-sick Sophia finally slept. Abuelo baked cookies when Sophie got up. He gave her a bagful and sneaked one to Pup. He blinked back a tear as he hugged his Sophia. For courage, he whispered, "Te amo, mi vida." She looked at his ankle and quite nearly cried. Although she didn't feel brave or courageous at all, Sophia Valdez went to face City Hall. Let's see what she does over at City Hall. What do you think she's going to do? Let's find out. There she goes. It's kind of like our town, right? The library is not too far from City Hall in Elgin, right? A couple blocks away. The mayor's office sent her to room 401. The Blue River Creek department was fun, which sent her downstairs to room 304 or 302, the office of duck ponds and cool things to do. To the office of monkeys, to the department of cheese, the division of fountains and meetings and bees, then down to the basement, so musty and cramped, where all the town's papers were sorted and stamped. And that's where the clerk said what no one else did. You can't build a new park. You're only a kid. What do you think? Do you think she can do it? I think she can do it. Who's with me? Let's see. The word smacked Sophia deep down in her heart. Her plan was kiboshed before it could start. I think, said Sophia, I think that law's wrong. But her second grade voice didn't sound very strong. The clerk said clearly, it cannot be done. Do you have any questions? Sophia said, one. If you were me and I was you and he was your grandpa, what would you do? Well, said the clerk. Then she said nothing at all. She thought and she thought. Then she sent out a call to every employee throughout City Hall. The entire government of Blue River Creek crammed into the office to hear Sophie speak. But her words jumbled up and her cheeks turned bright red as a dozen emotions rushed into her head. Her heart beat so loudly she thought it would crack. The crowd leaned in closer. Sophia leaned back. Ooh. Then her arm brushed the edge of an old cookie sack. And that was the moment when Sophia first knew being brave means doing the things you must do. Though your heart cracks with fear, though you're just in grade 2. She took a deep breath, looked the mayor in the eye, and though her knees wobbled, she held her head high. Sophia started talking. She spelled out her plan and why it all mattered and how it began. And once she got all rolling, she said she had lots to say about meeting spots, monkeys, and places to play. And another idea for things they could do to help the town elders and other folks too. And she had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two. And all right, cried the mayor, go start a petition. If the town wants a new park, we'll form a commission. And so young Sophia got right to work with some help from her family and pup and the clerk. Then others joined in, but not all, but a few, like Miss Lila Greer and the kids in grade 2. There were hearings and surveys and taxes to figure, then bulldozers, cranes, and a bigger digger. They all built that park. That's how it got done, with the hard work of by and for everyone. But it began with the dream of one person, just one, who laced up her shoes and then led the way to help Blue River Creek get a new place to play. Now every evening till long after dark, the town comes together at Citizens Park. They all hold the truth to be self-evident that Sophia Valdez could grow up to be president. Until then, Sophia, that real-life go-getter, helps Blue River Creek get better and better. That looks like a nice place to be, doesn't it? The end. All right. And let's see how much time we've got left. All right, we've got 2 more minutes left. So let me see if I can share this last story with you. So this is called The Legend of Rock, Paper, Scissors, and it's written by Adam Rex. All right. Long ago, in an ancient and distant realm called the Kingdom of the Backyard, there lived a warrior named Rock. Rock was the strongest in all the land, but he was sad because no one would give him a worthy challenge. Rock traveled to the mysterious forest over by the tire swing, where he met a warrior who hung on a rope, holding a giant's underwear. Drop that underwear and battle me, you ridiculous wooden clip man. I will pinch you and make you cry, Rock Warrior. Have you guys ever played Rock versus Clothespin? Let's see who's victorious. Rock is victorious. Oh no, he split him in half. Even though he had won, Rock was still unsatisfied. So he journeyed on to the mystical tower of Grandma's favorite apricot tree. There he was met by an odd and delicious fruit. You, sir, look like a fuzzy little butt. What? I challenge you to a duel. Then let us battle, said the rock. Let's see, who do you think is going to win? Rock versus apricot. I will beat you, Rock, with my tart and tangy sweetness. Rock is victorious. Ugh, I'm smooshed. And yet, smushing you has brought me no joy. Are you not entertained? Look who's all joining them in the backyard. There's a squirrel and some pumpkins. They were entertained, but the battle had been too easy. So Rock left the kingdom of backyard, still in search of a worthy foe. Who do you think he's going to find? Meanwhile, in the empire of Mom's home office, on a lonely and windswept desk mountain, a second great warrior sought the glory of battle, and his name was Paper. Even though he was the smartest warrior in all the land, he was also sad because no one could outwit him. He set out across Desk Mountain to find his match, and there he met a large and square monster. What do you think he sees? I gobble up the likes of you and spit them out every day, little Paper. Oh, then taste my fury, giant box monster. Paper versus computer printer. No, a paper jam. Paper is victorious. Having beaten the fiercest fighter of Desk Mountain, Paper climbed down to the pit of the office trash bin, where he battled the most terrifying horde of creatures in all the land, the half-eaten bag of trail mix. Paper versus half-eaten bag of trail mix. Ah, foul wizard, he's blotted out the sun. Run for your lives, laddies. Paper wins again. Can no one beat me? And so, with a heavy heart, Paper departed the empire of Mom's home office. And at the same time, in the kitchen realm, in the tiny village of the junk drawer, there lived a third great warrior. They called her Scissors. And she was the fastest blade in the land. She too was unchallenged on this day. Her first opponent was a strange and sticky circle man. Let us do battle, you tacky and vaguely round monstrosity. I will battle you, and I will leave you beaten and confused with my adhesive and tangling powers. Who do you think's gonna win? Tape or scissors? Have you ever played tape or scissors? Let's see. Scissors versus roll up tape. Uh-oh. What did she do? It looks like she sliced up all the tape, right? Scissors is victorious. Scissors forged on across the kitchen realm to the frigid wastes of refrigerator freezer, and there she met her most fearsome adversary yet. Dinosaurs made of frozen breaded chicken. Has anyone ever played rock, paper, chicken? No, right? Let's see. I have come from the far reaches of the kitchen to battle you bizarre and yummy breaded dinosaurs. Bow before our child-pleasing shapes and flavors, Swordmaster. No one can resist our crunchy awesomeness. Scissors versus dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. Dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets win? Uh-oh. No, wait. No, they don't. Scissors is victorious again. Am I so good that not even dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets can beat me? And so Scissors, like rock and paper before her, traveled beyond her own kingdom, seeking out a challenger who was her equal. Then one day, in the great cavern of the two-car garage, Rock and Scissors came face to face. I hope you're wearing your battle pants, Rock Warrior. If by battle pants you mean no pants, but I'm willing to fight you, then yes, I'm wearing my battle pants, weird scissory one. Rock versus Scissors. who's won this one. An epic and legendary battle ensued, but ultimately, Rock is victorious. You have made me so happy by beating me. I wish I felt your joy, Scissors, for I have yet to meet a warrior who can beat me. Who do you think's on her way, or on his way? Let's see. Hi there. Those are fighting words. Wait, what? Rock versus paper. This is one of the best days of my life. Thank you for winning, oh great knight of paper. That's fine for you, but it looks as though no one will beat me. Not so fast, paper. Wait, what? Scissors versus paper. You beat me. And the three great warriors hugged each other and danced for joy, and they became fast friends. Finally, they had met their matches. They were so happy, in fact, that they began to battle again and again. Round and round they went in the most massive and epic three-way battle of all time. And it is said to this day that joyous struggle still rages on to this very day. That is why children all around the world, in backyards, on playgrounds, and yes, even in classrooms, still honor the three great warriors by playing rock, paper, scissors. The end. All right, yay! So I went over just a little bit, but our cookies should still be good. And yeah, they are. So I'm gonna pull them out of the oven. And we have done cookies. So what you can do is take these off of the tray and they can cool on a rack. And then you can use your spatula and pull them off. And then you've got some delicious chocolate chip pumpkin spice cookies. They do, like I said, not get any bigger or any smaller, obviously, but they taste delicious. So I hope that you enjoyed today's program, and I hope that I will see lots of you making these yummy pumpkin spice chocolate chip cookies, and I'm sure they'll become a family favorite very soon. One thing I will say about these cookies, if you store them, make sure you do not cover them with a lid or put them in a bag and tighten it. They are super moist, so they'll mold if they are just contained in one container. So you're going to want to keep the lid just a little bit off. You can cover it still, but you're going to want to keep the lid just a little off. So thanks all for joining, and I hope I will see you guys next time in November when we make mini pies. See you later.